That's the part where I add myself to the stream, right? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Great day to be in HEX, huh? Let's let some people trickle in here. I'm just going to do a really short one. Just wanted to talk about basically everything great that's going on. I mean, you really can't ask for better. So, oh, what is this little symbol up in the corner? So my connection's unstable. Yeah, hopefully we don't have any connectivity issues, but yeah. We're just going to hop on a quick little stream. By the way, make sure you tune in to Knights of the Crypto Table later today. Motley, Valiant Brand, Dollar Cost Crypto, Look Into Crypto, aka Wasabi, a bunch of good guys on that channel. I will not be able to make it, but make sure you check them out. Just wanted to give you a little, if they're, I felt bad that I wasn't going to be able to make it, so I felt like I should give a little FaceTime either way. But let's just see who we got here. We got Identity Block. We got Hex, Nah OG, hello. Piston Broke, how you doing? David Morales, Hex Alt Ed, how you doing? Russ, Hex Squadron, what's up, player? How are you? Daithi, hope I'm saying that right. Hello from Dublin. Hello from Chicago. Crypto Ewok, all right. And then Blue Bum, what a name. Matt Van, hey. How's everybody doing? How are you guys enjoying your mad gains? Hex hit a new all-time high today, so I don't know what you could possibly be upset about today. It's just an overall great day. Everyone's portfolio is skyrocketing, and everyone wants to talk about it. So what should we say about it? What can we say? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious if you haven't been living under a rock that a lot of this speculation is caused by the hype. Before we even have a launch date, guys, all of this hype, I think, is because of the future Pulse chain that's coming out on top of kind of the perfect storm when it comes to crypto and the perfect storm of external factors on Ethereum. You've got new all-time highs in Ethereum as well, which is helping to drive the price of everything, right? Because, a lot of times Hex is denominated in ETH. So if the ETH value goes up, that's good for everything, right? The rising tide lifts all ships. And of course, Uniswap V3, we cannot forget about that. Uniswap V3 is, I think, going to be huge. I think it might be a catalyst, a watershed kind of event that kicks off basically alt season, right? So whether it's Hex or whether you got another bag of a altcoin, chances are this is the time in the bull market where you throw a dart at a wall randomly, and everyone's a genius, right? No matter what coin you pick. And my favorite coin happens to be one that'll, stick around for at least, another 15 years, hopefully longer. Hopefully Hex will be the coin that outlives my actual lifetime. But hey, I'm staked out for 15 years. Obviously, we believe in this longer than a single market cycle. But guys, try to enjoy it, right? Because when you're in it, sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. And then the cycle will pass you by. And try not to do anything stupid. Don't chase pumps, right? Don't ever chase a pump. If you don't have your position locked in, I was saying it last month, and we had a nice dip last month, and instead of gathering up a nice position, I'm sure a lot of you just got upset. So it's a game of emotions, right? It's a game of emotions. But I think the real hardcore Hexicans, we're long-term thinkers in this community, and we understand that things are built for months and years, right? It's a months and years game. So if you are concerned with the day-to-day volatility, just a friendly reminder that crypto is incredibly volatile. Hex has dipped over 70% 4 times in the past, and so has Bitcoin. And Ethereum has dipped almost 85%. So if you're not ready to, hold through some of those dips, maybe crypto is not for you. But if you are, and especially if you're in Hex and if you're staked in Hex, you get to offset a little bit of that loss with, the APY, the interest that you're making every single day. Now, why am I being a buzzkill? Why am I talking about loss? Because when everybody's euphoric, which is about to be, get ready for this next month. I have a good feeling. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. Everything could go to zero tomorrow. Hex could go to zero tomorrow. I'm just saying that, when you're in the right thing, you need to be able to stomach those drops, and Hex just helps you with that because it has this psychological side effect, this emergent property that allows you to basically feel good about it. Because you're making trustless interests no matter what. Your coins are generating new coins that offset any potential loss in a future bear market. So it's a pretty beautiful thing. Hey, Gerardo. Hey, this guy right here, Gerardo. His name is really hard to spell on YouTube. His name is Gerard Dog, GEWAWRDOG. Go follow this guy on YouTube right now if you haven't already. He's basically our Ben Cohen, except obviously better. No offense, Ben Cohen. I like that guy too. He's got a new channel that's pretty technical. If you like that kind of technical regression curve analysis type stuff, or just looking at trends and, correlations, he recently kind of proved that HEX is obviously correlated to some degree to Bitcoin, but it's actually correlated closer to Bitcoin than it is to any, big altcoins, even Ethereum. So I found that very interesting. I always learn a thing or two. So go give him a sub and a follow. Hey, Toby1, how are you? Crypto Ewok, thanks for the video yesterday. Got my limit orders set. Now we just need a little dip. That's a pretty cool thing, guys. We're going to pull this up on the screen. We're going to pull up Uniswap V3 because the Uniswap V3 launch is out. I don't think anybody realizes how huge this is. Like the capital efficiencies, when we say capital efficiencies, I think you can do a lot bigger orders now with a lot less slippage because of these curves, right? These liquidity curves, which is complicated. I don't even fully grasp it yet, right? I'm not an expert by any means, but we're going to see the market maturing essentially. So we're going to see the ETH market and basically the most popular DEX on the ETH market bringing crypto into a more mature, stable space, which, I really kind of like the volatility in Ethereum or in HEX on Uni V2. We might be seeing less of that if perhaps maybe liquidity shifts from V2 to V3. And maybe that'll be a good thing, especially for bigger players to get in, because bigger players won't knock the price around so much. But, it remains to be seen if the big liquidity whales will actually want to switch over. But yeah, let's see. What's up, T-shirt master? Sandy. Hello, Sandy. Hola. Sandy says, Sandy says 3 out of 5 people I speak to about HEX calls it a scam and downs Richard Hart. I've done my assessments. Richard Hart is guilty cursing people with wealth. Richard Hart is a smart MFer. POS versus POW. Enough said. Yeah, he is definitely cursed me with mad gains. And, sometimes when you're that smart and you get so much of the same tired arguments over and over, it's easy to lose your patience. I mean, even I, scrolling through Twitter, if I'm on Twitter longer than 20 minutes, I start to literally it's like an energy vampire. Like, I don't recommend, staying on Twitter unless you have a specific purpose. Like if you're promoting something tactfully and strategically, I think Twitter can be a great place, but sometimes you'll just be scrolling and it's just, man, does everything have to be a fight? Does everything have to, and when you only get 240 characters to express your opinion, I think it's not great. Twitter is not great for mental health. But yeah, I mean, Richard Hart, people think he's a scammer because people say, oh, he's just going to like dump on your head, rug pull, Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme. I've heard it all. HEX is just another, token, just another cryptocurrency. And it's been around for over a year and a half, 18 months. Literally, I think it's 18 months today or this month. No rug pull, 100% uptime. How many cryptos out there have been rug pulled with 100% uptime? And then people, support, like they back them up like, oh, it's okay. We don't mind. We don't mind that we lost all our money, but that Richard Hart guy with his 100% uptime token, screw that guy, right? So it's ridiculous. It's hypocritical, but the price chart speaks louder than anything else. And in my opinion, the price chart is the best marketing that you can possibly have because it's a literal result. You can't argue with the result of something. You can say whatever you want about, oh, Richard Hart owns all these coins. He just wants to get rich. People don't understand this man doesn't need money. When you've been retired since 2003 and you're no longer motivated by money, to me, I'd rather put trust in someone like that than, a developer that, for example, maybe I've never seen their face. If I've never seen a developer's face, how am I going to trust them with anything? You could say, oh, well, it's supposed to be trustless. Yeah, well, it is trustless because there's no admin keys, right? People misunderstand what that means. It's trustless in the way that there's nobody that can change the code on you. In HEX, nobody can change the rules on you. 98% of other DeFi projects out there, they have admin keys, meaning somebody or maybe 3 or 5 multi-sig, 3 people out there, a small group of developers controls the rules. They control the keys to the treasury or whatever, mostly just controlling the rules of the network, right? Treasury is another story. But Corey Investor, Coffee and fellow Hexicans, what is going on, Corey? Excited to see you soon, dude. Hex Squadron, what's up? Oh, everyone's just talking to each other. Sandy says Hex is the future. I really believe it is. I might be delusional, but hey, in the future, isn't it always the delusional ones that make history? You have to have some level of belief, right? I believe in Hex, full hands down, right? Anders, congrats to all. Beast mode. That's right. That's right. What was I going to do? I was going to pull something up. Share screen, Chrome tab. Here we go. All right, guys. So what you see in front of you is Uniswap V3, which I think is going to be huge. I mean, there's not much you can do with the layout, right? It looks nice. It looks pretty similar. It looks almost the same. But if you go to the pool tab over here, this is where the really cool stuff happens, guys. This is the really cool stuff. You can add a new position by clicking this pink button over here, and you can now add liquidity pairs of, whatever you want. Now, I've only got, Hex and Ethereum really in this wallet here. That's pretty much all I got. So, as an example, we could try to add some of that. And you can actually get paid. You can get paid a fee for, making a very, very tight liquidity range. So basically, if you make the liquidity range in between, let's say, this number and that number, it almost becomes like a limit order, right? Because you're saying, hey, when the price goes there, I want to, deploy my liquidity. Now, that's only if the price dips below, right? If the price goes well below that and then comes back up from the other side, you might have a limit order in the opposite direction. So you need to be careful. You need to monitor this too. Let's say you have like $1,000 set at, the 2 penny range, but maybe only $700 of it gets eaten up and then it goes way back up or something. You're going to need to go manually cancel that order so that you don't just leave it sitting here forever. Because if you leave it sitting here forever, that's something Richard Hart pointed out that I didn't realize. Your liquidity is just going to be stuck in there. And let's say Hex goes to 10 cents or something, and we never see these 2 cents levels again. You're going to want to, unlock that liquidity. Now, unfortunately, for the average person, it probably doesn't make much sense to be doing this because gas fees will eat you alive. I tried to do this yesterday, and the gas fees were like $120. So, it's not the best. But for the whales, think about the whales, guys. Think about this use case right here, which is what's so bullish, right? When you think about whales that have a lot of money that just want to stabilize a coin at a certain price, you can basically deploy, let's say, like $100,000 of liquidity at a certain range to basically be like, I want to scoop up all that Hex at that low range, right? So I can see some whales doing some very, very strategic moves and just kind of notching up the price, like notching it up, And I know we just saw, for example, a big whale that had about 600 million Hex. Let's talk about him for a second. He's down to like 100 million, and he made a real dent in the chart. He made a real wick in the chart. And it's pretty funny to see this because this is all mostly like one guy. Where is my chart? Oh, there it is. Share that screen. So look at this, guys. Let's zoom in on this little wick. You see how big this wick is? Let's measure this wick right here. Price range. That's a 30% wick. If you count the top from yesterday, it's almost 45%. And it wicked us down so hard because he was just dropping, 40 million, 8 million, 7 million. He was just trying to get rid of his Hex, it looked like. And something interesting about this big whale account is that he seems to like to hold on to round numbers. So when his account got to 200 million Hex, he paused for a little bit on the selling. He chilled out. Then he went pretty heavy at it today, it looks like, and he narrowed it down to 100 million. So he's only got 100 million left, and he chilled out again. He chilled out at that nice even round number of 100 million Hex. So people like round numbers, people do things. We're human beings. So he's got 100 million left to sell. But looking at his behavior, it seems like maybe he's going to wait for another increment. So I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, we go to 3.5 cents or 4 cents and we see this guy just unload the rest of his liquid 100 million. Because what it seems to me like is this one whale just wants to get rid of his HEX, maybe take his profit. Maybe he's a day one guy just trying to take some profit and he doesn't believe in HEX long term like all of us. But once we get rid of that guy, once that guy goes away and he's out of the picture, look at how quickly this is getting bought back up. Do you see that big wick? The candle all the way to the right that we're making right now is called a hammer candle. And it's a bullish candle because it means that despite all that downward sell pressure, there's enough demand to eat it all the way back up to, what are we at? 2.8 pennies, 2.6 pennies. And there's enough demand to eat it all the way back up. So we can see that these big wicks are not killing us. In fact, they're really just kind of like calm before the storm. Or maybe not. Maybe we go to zero. Again, I don't know. And if you're listening to financial advice from some guy on YouTube, wrong move. Sandy, keep spreading the word. Haters gonna hate or stay poor. LOL. Yes. Let's see what else we got. Hey, Simon. What up, CC? When Paul's voice chat, you join. I will join soon. I should probably get in there. There's so much going on with Pulse that it makes my head spin. I'm happy to talk about some of the ideas that I'm more certain about, but there's so much going on in Pulse. A lot of smart people, smarter than me, are in there figuring this shit out, especially Richard Hart. D-Raj, what are your thoughts on copycat coins being duplicated on Pulse chain? I don't know if, okay, that's a good question, D-Raj. I think maybe certain copycats are a little more harmless than others, and not even they're all harmless, right? They're all going to, in my opinion, kind of fizzle out over time. Their price charts haven't really gone anywhere. Maybe they've done like a 4x. HEX has done a 400x, right? It's like, I don't see them being around a long time. I don't know if we should just start banning stuff outright, but I mean, if you're going to fork the whole Ethereum network, I don't know if you can really stop it. I don't know if it's that big of a deal to stop it, right? It's like, on one hand, maybe whatever small, tiny communities they have, maybe they give HEX more attention, right? Because if we let them on Pulse chain, it's like, okay, well, you're bringing in more attention to Pulse, and which in turn brings more attention to HEX. So maybe we let them on, and it actually kind of backfires on them, and it becomes, basically a way to get more people into HEX. And basically, but also on the other hand, a lot of them were leeching on the HEX community at first. And I think that, I don't think they're really in a place to be leeching off the HEX community anymore. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. On one hand, more eyeballs on Pulse is good for HEX. On the other hand, there's a vampire effect, like kind of what Sushi Swap tried to do to Uniswap, and a couple of the copycats tried to do to HEX. So that's bad. What the verdict is, I don't know on that one. Scott Ofit says, this is a good time to buy HEX right now. Well, I am not a giver of financial advice, but you have to make that decision on your own. A lot of us here think that this thing is going to be around for a long, long time, and we believe in it very hard. We've made stakes for anywhere from 1 to 15 years. So HEX is a staking coin, Scott, if you didn't know. It's a staking coin that pays you a crazy high interest rate right now. I think it's paying 38% APY, but you really have to stake it for periods of years. Otherwise, you're not going to get those interest rates. If you stake for 1 year, you'll still get a pretty good rate, maybe like 13%. But the thing is, with this coin, if you unstake it early, there's actually a penalty. Unlike a lot of these other staking coins, they're not really locked value because you can unlock the value whenever you want. So in HEX, you actually have to put your money where your mouth is and vote with your actions, where if you believe in this coin, if you really do believe in it, you're committed for all those years. And so that's part of what's given HEX this great community as an emergent property, is basically you've got all these people that have staked 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years. And now we're all just like looking at each other like, okay, what do we do now? Well, let's go promote HEX because we're not trading anymore, right? We're not trading it. So what else do we have to do besides try to go pump our own bags? So I can't give buy recommendations. That's against the law. But I really like HEX. Machiavelli says, smash the Hulk, smash like Hulk. Hex Toshi, what's up, coffee? Scott says 0.0279. Is that the price right now? It's a little small on my screen. Yeah, we're at 2.7 right now, it seems. 2.7 cents. Machiavelli says, always a good time to buy Hex. Yeah, maybe. Scott Ofoot, always everyone's saying, everyone, if you're coming in this chat room asking to buy Hex, I'm sure a lot of people might want to say yes. Hey, Sammy, how are you? Good to see you here. David Morales says, only 100 mil, I wish. LOL. Yeah, I know, I wish I had 100 million, right? It's like some of these whales and Hex are so big that to them, 100 million is like only a quarter of their stack. So, like I said, this guy with 100 mil, he had 400 or 600 million, and he's whittled it away till only 100 mil left. So, relative to that guy, he's almost out. And once he's out of the game, oh, T-Don says I'm wrong. He added 100 mil to Uniswap V3 liquidity. Interesting. Was that the same guy? Okay, so maybe he's a believer, right? Maybe he just sold on V2 to go put it on V3. Interesting. Hey, Xkins, he sent 90 million to Uni V3 liquid pool. That's awesome. All right, so this guy, maybe I was wrong. He's not just a seller. He actually, the whale that I was talking about earlier, right now I'm hearing that he sent 90 million to the Uni V3 liquid pool. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. So thank you, Matt, for pointing that out. That's awesome because we don't really have a whole lot of liquidity for Hex on V3 yet. And as we see the switchover start to happen, some interesting things might start to occur. Narapa says, coffee, what's up? And the Hex crew, Hex Squadron, get him out of here. Yeah, maybe get him out of here. But now if this guy is a Hex supporter, maybe he was doing that to, well, couldn't he have just migrated the liquidity though? I don't know. Sold from 270 million to 190 million, then provided 90 million for liquidity, kept 100 million liquid in wallet. Okay, so that's what he did. Thanks, T-Don. I wasn't quite sure. I thought he had like 600 million or something. Maybe I'm thinking of another guy. It's calm before the storm. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but maybe if I had to guess, maybe we like chop around here for a week or two. Maybe even a month. Maybe we chop around for another month just to shake out any of the last week hands and then we go off. I have no idea. The Sapper says price holding yet volume sliding. That might be a good thing. It might be. It might be because you know that at least they're not selling, right? If volume tapers off, it means no one's buying, but no one's selling. Chances are there's always a Hex stream going on. That's right. This is going to be a short one. I can't stay too long on here. Just wanted to talk about and celebrate the mad gains with some of you guys. The best time to buy and stake Hex is always today, not financial advice. Thank you, Nriapa TV. T-Share Master said, bring the copycats on board, kill them with that RH kindness. Maybe. I think maybe we do bring them on board and then, some of their community just, I'm almost positive that a lot of people in the copycat communities started in the Hex community and probably still own a lot of Hex. Like they probably didn't want to completely abandon it. It was probably, what'd you call them, opportunists that are like, well, I'm kind of fighting myself out of Hex a little bit, but if Hex could win or this other one could win, now I think it's pretty clear that Hex is the winner. It's the best one. It always has been. So I would venture to guess that a lot of the copycat people might just come back to Hex out of its own merit, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. Black Pill Redemption says plebs will be shilled coins like Doge and think it's trustworthy, and then FOMO buys 70 cents. But if you ask if 2.7 cents is a good time to get into Hex, yeah, it's funny. How are people going to be aware of this airdrop? Well, it's not going. The details aren't going to be released, Clairvoyant, until probably a couple months. Like the actual date probably won't be until later this year, but you can go to t.me/pulsechain.com, go to the Pulse Chain Telegram group, and that'll be the best way to stay on top of it, right? We're going to be making a lot of noise about it when it does come out, so you don't have to worry about missing out. As long as you're in the Telegram groups, even if you're in the Hex Telegram group, you're probably not going to miss the news. You're probably not going to miss it because it's all everyone's talking about. So Nobody's really finalized the launch details yet. Nobody's really finalized a lot of the intricacies of the sacrifice period and all that. But you can be sure that you will know about it if you're in the right social media channels. And we like to use Telegram in crypto. Bits FN, when EHEX is around and PHEX is around, and they each have their own price, why will anyone then buy HEX through the ETH network when the Pulse Chain's gas fee is so low? It's a good question. That's why, I mean, in my opinion, if people value a better product and people go to where there's a better user experience, you know, I believe that should mean that for a while, people are going to buy HEX primarily on Pulse Chain. But we can't forget about Ethereum, because Ethereum might one day fix itself and the fees might come down a lot. And then you might have a lot of infrastructure that's already been built, such as, on-ramps, fiat on-ramps and all that stuff over on the Ethereum chain. So it gives us options, right? It's basically, if Ethereum can fix itself eventually, we can always go back to Ethereum. But I do think in the shorter term, like the next year or two, maybe 3, that people are probably going to prefer PulseX. Yeah, but I'm not going to be emergency end staking anything on the Ethereum chain, that's for sure, because you never know. And why would I want to lose all my HEX if I'm not sure? Maybe it'll come back one day. Why would I want to lose all my HEX on the ETH chain if maybe one day there's a shot of that becoming kind of dominant? And maybe one day we'll just use both. I can't even tell, but I do think people are going to eventually predominantly go to where there's a better UX, right? 100 million is crazy. Yeah, what is that? Like what's the math on that? Let me find that guy's account really quick. Diehard says, yeah, my friends keep asking the same. Like, I'm like, it's still under a cent, then it's still under 2 cents, then 3 cents. Yeah. Sammy, good bro. How you doing? I'm doing great. Sammy, I'm doing great. Just got some plans later today, so I gotta get a quick stream in before I go off. Archie S says, shy shrimp compared to that. LOL. Yeah. I mean, if I had 100 million HEX, I'd be on a boat in Puerto Rico right now. I'll tell you that. Yikes says 100 million on the sell side only. What does that mean? He's probably listened to what RH said. Esteban says, what's up, Coffee and Hexkins? How are you? Hey, Coffee. JS, does anyone ever say you look like Judd Nelson? No. I gotta Google that now. Judd Nelson. Who's Judd Nelson? Oh, cool. No, no one's ever told me that before. That's hilarious, though. Thanks. Hilarious. Clairvoyant, I'm worried about others knowing about the airdrop. I've been airdropped all sorts of coins, and I never know about them until I DL all the Unipair lists. I'm worried about others knowing about the airdrop. I'm not sure what you mean. I've been airdropped all sorts of coins. I never knew about it until, I mean, this is going to be unlike a lot of airdrops because you're going to actually have to switch your network, and you're going to get a 1-for-1 copy of any ERC20 that you held in your wallet, right? So just by holding an ERC20 on Pulse Chain, you're going to get a 1-to-1 copy on the Pulse Chain if you held it on the ETH chain rather. So, let's say I have any altcoin, right? Let's say I have Ethereum. That Ethereum is going to get converted to Pulse token, I believe 1-for-1. And every other ERC20 token is just going to be converted over to the Pulse version of that token at 1-to-1. It'll just appear there because it's a fork of the network. The only change is going to be, I think the ETH will now be Pulse, right? Because the network token will be Pulse instead of ETH. And then there's the sacrifice phase. I tried to make a video explaining it, so check that out. It should be pretty easy once it happens. But again, I don't think it's going to happen for another couple months, guys. I think we're still a good maybe 4 months out. If I'm being I'm not an optimist when it comes to delivery times, but I think 4 months would be great. I don't know. I have no idea. Diehard says gas prices make weak hands with small bags hodl. True. If it's not profitable for you to end your stake, the gas prices make you essentially hold. you become a hodler until that rises even more. It's a good point. Also, by the way, guys, they just did lower the gas kind of on Ethereum. Some things have happened, some changes have happened on Ethereum. So not to say it's cheap now, but for example, I tried to end a stake for $300. It cost $300 about a month ago. And I tried again about a week ago, and it only cost me $60. So I'm not saying $60 is cheap, but it's cheaper than 300. So if you had any stakes you wanted to start or end, just know or keep in mind that it is a little bit cheaper now because I believe they increased the gas limit for miners, which makes it a little bit more efficient. So you can fit more information into a block. Crypto Ewoks is when ETH 2.0 comes out, will that be a fork 2? Triple our stacks. Good question, Crypto. I've heard it kind of will be. I've heard it will be a fork, so maybe we will have triple. It's not, it's not crazy hard to fork Ethereum from what I gather, but I'm not a developer. Die Hard says, nah, ETH 2.0 is a merger, not fork. Okay. So yeah, it'll probably just continue to be the same chain then. Anders says, do you know if you sacrifice ERC20 tokens and you get X/Pulse token, does it get revoked if you don't move them to another wallet within 30 days? If so, how come? I don't know. I imagine if that were true, it would be so that people can't just hang on to their X tokens forever. So there's no secondary market for token X or whatever. Like maybe that would happen to prevent any weirdness of people trading for token X or something. I haven't heard that mechanic specifically outlined yet, though. Vitalik was talking about it on stream about ETH 2.0. Okay, so it'll be a merged fork, so you pretty much won't do anything. I believe that's what I read. I read an article a while back, too, about ETH 2.0. I believe it's just kind of, they're trying to transition as smooth as possible so that you don't really have to do anything and everything just takes effect. T-Shirt Master says, everyone rushing to sacrifice with HEX, but remember what RH said. Both halves will be greater than the whole. Yeah, so that's not a guarantee that both halves will be greater than the whole, but I think it is likely that both halves will be greater than the. I think it's likely. So somebody asked me a question the other day. They were like, "Hey, what if both Pulse Hex and ETH Hex actually end up going down in net value?" I'm like, "Okay, well, it's not impossible, but let's think about it. You're getting all of these people buying up these cheap coins." Right. So everyone's buying up the Hex now on the ETH chain to then sacrifice into Pulse because they want to be a whale in Pulse. Then they have a 1-to-1 copy of their ETH Hex and their Pulse Hex, which is most likely staked. So what the side effect of this Pulse or this potential sacrifice lobby is that it's getting rid of a lot of the liquid supply. So I think part of the sacrifice lobby is to get rid of that liquid supply. And what happens when there's not much liquid, right? Price goes up. So I mean, then you're going to have a different Pulse chain with all this network activity, right? So Pulse chain is going to be a lot of hype around it. People are going to be rushing to get into Hex early on that because they're going to get good prices initially because there's going to be price discovery. So initially, like for the first couple of seconds or minutes, Hex on Pulse will be really, really cheap probably. But that's going to get scooped up and that's going to cause a frenzy. So I think just with all the attention and all the new eyeballs coming in, and just it's a hype play, if anything else. And it's obviously fixing the gas problem too. So it's a better user experience. I think Pulse, in my opinion, will end up having a higher value than, I think Pulse Hex will end up having a higher value than ETH Hex. But I don't think ETH Hex will go away by any means at all. And I think that the sum of the Pulse Hex and ETH Hex value will add up to greater than the current value of the ETH Hex right before the fork. Again, that's all speculation, so I don't know for sure. Yash Deep says, I wonder how RH will address if other communities don't come over to Pulse. What will HEX sell for? Like, what if USDC doesn't honor the Pulse chain? Will the only way to sell HEX be to buy Pulse? Could be. Or we could use DAI, right? DAI. I don't think there's really anybody stopping us from that. And also there will be USDC, maybe you could have some kind of PUSDC knowing that it's actually been bridged and verifiable back on the ETH chain. So that might be a way too. I mean, we're going to have some kind of bridges, kind of like how Matic had bridges and all that stuff. So bridging coins is another potential option to fix that, right? Hextoshi said, I believe the farming coins will blast over to Pulse and give it a feel. Yeah, maybe. I think the farming coins are the ones that use a lot of gas, right? So I'm sure they would love to try this out. We need to find a list of people that are getting screwed the hardest by Ethereum. And those are probably going to be the people or the communities that are most likely to switch over. So if anybody can kind of dig up that list, that would be huge, because we could then go target specific communities and say, hey guys, we know you're feeling the pain because maybe your altcoin actually does something. Our altcoin actually does something too. We have a solution. There's a better way. It's hard for the people in DeFi that are actually making real DeFi, and there is a handful of real DeFis out there. Coins like, I'm not going to mention names, but there's a handful of coins that are doing real cool projects that seem to be getting screwed by gas. Yikes said he added 100 million HEX to liquidity pool at prices ranging above the current price. So it's essentially a sell order. Oh, I see. Okay. Still cool to see V3 being used. And I think RH recommended that to sellers. Interesting. So he's essentially creating some kind of a ceiling. So there's 100 million sell wall to basically get through. Yeah. So it's essentially the same effect, but it'll just be more like we'll have to eat it up out of that guy's hands instead of him dumping it down and then eating it back up. It'll be like fish nibbling at the top of the water rather than fish nibbling at a fish hook that's all the way at the bottom of the ocean. Archie says 2 money printers is good. Will be more complicated though, different prices on both chains. It will be complicated. So I'm excited for the day where all the dust settles. Goddamn, Pulse hasn't even started yet, guys. And I'm already excited for the day where there's nothing, all the explanations are easy. Pulse chain wins. Everybody's using Pulse, and we can onboard people smoothly, seamlessly without having to explain all this Pulse stuff. But crypto people like complexity. So this does appeal to the internal crypto crowd. A lot of people with money in cryptocurrency prefer complexity, and those people already have good stakes within the ecosystem, right? So a lot of people, especially whales, have a lot of money that's in crypto. And once you get in crypto, you kind of just slosh your money around. A lot of us crypto guys and girls, we kind of just slosh our money around within the crypto ecosystem. And usually we hang on to it for a very long time before we go back out into the dirty fiat world, right? So with the Pulse chain being complicated for new people, sure. But I think it's just complicated enough for crypto people like ourselves. I think a lot of us are going to enjoy really digging into it and trying to find the optimal plays. Because, I always say this, but crypto people love overcomplicating stuff. And this is perfect, right? There's so many game theoretical components of, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to sell my HEX right away for something else? Am I going to sacrifice another coin? Am I going to swap one coin for HEX and then sacrifice it? Am I going to just wait on the new chain and be patient and then sell my altcoins into the buys to get more Pulse that way? Or do I just hold everything and do nothing? Or do I do a combination of all that stuff? I mean, there's so many options. Sometimes I scroll back in MetaMask wallet to see the first HEX I bought. So nice to see that percentage there. If you're ever having a bad day, do what Keith Bars did. The young Judd Nelson, LOL. When I say I was in day one, it seems surreal even to me. I know, I was in on day 2, and I don't think I've ever been in on day 2 or 1 of anything. Hoagie House says, are the 1-to-1 ERC airdrops ever going to be taxable events? Isn't that technically dropping free money? They might be. Consult a tax professional before, I'm not a tax advisor at all, but this is essentially an airdrop, right? Because you're going to have it in your wallet, whether you ask for it or not. There's no claim, right? There's no claim period. So I guess whether or not you want to do anything with that is totally up to you. You could just leave it alone and never touch it if you don't want to get involved in the taxable events. But if you do try to sell some and move some of your new pulse gains back into US dollars, yeah, you're definitely gonna have to worry about taxes. So go see a CPA or one of those new crypto CPAs, Bits FN says it must be so difficult to answer questions on stream about Pulse when there's such little information out yet about it. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm doing my best. It's like I don't know a lot of things. I'm in the same boat as most of you, but there are some very simple concepts that we can answer, right? Like, does my staked hex get copied over too? Yes, it does. Does my liquid hex get copied over? Yes, it does. What's the ratio? 1-to-1, unless you're in the sacrifice lobby. So there's a couple of things we can do, but it is frustrating, especially when we don't know timelines yet. So I am itching to get that timeline. LOL, spent today in the gym trying to work out my pulse game, then realized Hex was just as insanely good and to chill and wait rather than second guess the whole thing. Yeah, in my opinion, whenever I've been patient in crypto, it's really, really been rewarding for me. And whenever I've been impatient, I've always ended up doing something stupid. Like just recently when Hex was going sideways, I bought a shitcoin and I lost a lot of money. So that's be careful out there. We're almost at 3 cents again. I know. Can you believe how easily that got bought back up in a matter of hours, right? What amount for being a Hex whale? What? I don't understand that question. Hey, what's up, Motley? Hey, everybody go follow Motley Investors channel and tune into Motley after me. They're not going to be going on for another 4 hours or so. I'm a little busy at the time, but go check out Motley, Wasabi, Dollar Cost Crypto, and of course, Valiant Brand, who is always first in every single stream of mine. RGS, the coffee pump. That's right. The good old coffee pump. 10 cent July, no doubts. Hey, 10 cent July would be great. I would love 10 cent July. Hexy Mother, yo, what's up, Molly? RH normally drops hints. This whole thing is also be explained like Hex was on the AA. Let me just show you this really ridiculously bullish tweet from Richard Hart. This one got me so bullish. This tweet right here, guys. I love when he tweets stuff like this. It's he's not like giving anything away, right? But let me pull it up. So which one is it? Talking about limit orders, blah, blah, blah. Trying to get work done. He basically said, Hex seems to be doing okay. Look at that price chart. Beautiful. Maybe he deleted it. I have no idea. He basically said, wouldn't it be cool if Hex did a 100x in the run up before Pulse Chain? And guys, I think that could happen. That's not outside of the realm of possibility. In the words of Joe Rogan, it's entirely possible that Hex could run up to 100x. I mean, I'm not saying it will, right? Not financial advice, but it's going to be a very, very hype event, right? I can't find it. Can't find the tweet, guys. Sad. Oh, I know why I'm so slow right now. It's because of that. Cool. All right, let's see. Hopefully we got a little bit better. Poor internet connection is really getting the best of me right now. Faux Motley in the house. Everyone, if you haven't seen it on Twitter, I'm doing a Hex Elon campaign before he goes on SNL. Yeah, everybody go tweet at Elon Musk on Twitter. It'd be hilarious if he tweeted something about Hex, anything at all. What up, man? I'll be reaching out to the CC soon. Content creators. Yes. Keep going. Might wrap it up here in a few, guys. Any final questions, thoughts, concerns? Let's see. Somebody asked about the centralization in the Hex, in the potential new Pulse chain with the 33 validators. I just want to reiterate, there is like that concept of decentralized enough, right? And so the 33 validators are just, I believe, the top 33 at any given time, but they rotate in and out. So they don't always have to be the same validators, but basically be, I think, whoever has the most at stake or something like that. So although it does seem centralized compared to, Ethereum or Bitcoin, you make these trade-offs. Excuse me. You make these trade-offs. So, the cost of decentralization is, you get these inefficiencies like you have with Ethereum, and especially that you have with Bitcoin. So I think there's a happy middle ground. And I think hopefully the validator consensus mechanism in the new chain will be decentralized enough to not be attacked. But from what else we're hearing too is the proof of stake chains in general don't get attacked as much because you actually have to have stake, right? You can't just rent hash power. The only chains that really get attacked are the chains like Ethereum Classic, where you can just rent 51% of the hash power. So that was another concern I heard. It is a concern to a degree, but I am assuming that Richard will, he'll do his research and he'll probably get a system that's decentralized enough. Maki says, so how do we buy Pulse HEX with Uniswap or some kind of Pulse swap will take place? Yeah, Maki, a good question. Uniswap is going to get forked over too. So we're just going to have Uniswap on the Pulse chain as well. It's already going to be there. There's probably going to have to be a little bit of a front end update, but yeah, we'll just be able to buy it with Uniswap, kind of like we've been doing. And hopefully one day, guys, we get these USD on ramps. So I'm going to go out and message like Transact. I'm going to message Ramp, like the USD onboarder people. And we should try to see if we can get them to do direct USD on ramps into the Pulse network. I mean, if we have enough pulsicans, they're going to want to do it because they want a lot of users, right? They make fees on every transaction. So why not reach out to these USD on ramps and see when the time comes, see if we can get them to work with us. I think that'd be fun. Hey, Wales, what's up, man? Brian says, I'm here. What did I miss? Just about the whole stream, Brian. Hey, Blake Weber Wellabert says, so wait, is it proof of authority instead of proof of stake? No, it's proof of stake. I believe it's something like delegated proof of stake. So other validators can delegate up to the big head honchos, so to speak. But you know what, guys? I am talking out of my ass to a degree because I don't know. Wales only said Pulsicans is what I said too. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be Pulsicans. I heard Pulsies, not a big fan of that one. And Pulsars sounds a little off to me. We'll have to think about it, guys. Pulse Gang. I like Pulse Gang. All right. All 112 of you Hexicans, before my internet goes out, I'm going to get my life together, go get my things in order. And it's been great talking with y'all. Enjoy the mad gains. Enjoy the new all-time highs. I'll see you on the next one because I don't really have a whole lot of news right now. So hopefully next time we can have some more hype to talk about. Buy HEX. Buy HEX if you want the price to go up. And if you really want to pump the price of HEX before the sacrifice period, just buy more of it or convert your other ERC20s into HEX and then let it go, right? If you love it, let it go. All right, peace out, guys.